folks, I'm glad you're all here with me today. It's Tuesday, March 19th, 2023. Welcome to everybody, and welcome to the new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. If you have any comments, please put it down below. Those of us in the community enjoy reading the comments, so if you have something to add, please post it. A strong 5.5 earthquake occurred in the South Pacific Ocean, 47 miles from New Zealand, in the early afternoon of Tuesday, today, at 3:25 p.m. local time. The quake had a very shallow depth of 33 kilometers, or 21 miles. Here you can see drawn out in red is the Kermadec Trench. That's where we got the Pacific Ocean subducting underneath the Australian plate. Drawn out in light blue over here, that is the line for the Kermadec Islands. They lie roughly halfway between New Zealand, down over here, starting at the Bay of Plenty, and going all the way up to Tonga. I'll bring it in up over here. You remember the Hunga Tonga volcano that erupted? That erupted in January, I believe, in 2022. And the sound wave of the blast actually went around the world quite a few times. This fault zone, the Tonga Trench, and the subduction has had a history of some very large earthquakes. Let's see here. I think the biggest one was a magnitude 8.1. That was in 2021. That was a very interesting earthquake. There was a foreshock. Let me bring it down here. Close to New Zealand, of a magnitude 7.3. The Kermadec Island chain actually stretches about 800 kilometers or 500 miles. Like I said, from a northeasterly direction from the Bay of Plenty, New Zealand, all the way up there to Tonga. The islands are a visible part of a submerged chain of volcanic mountains formed during the process when the Pacific tectonic plate subducts underneath the Australian plate. Due to the potential for large earthquakes along the subduction zone, there is a persistent risk of tsunamis affecting New Zealand's eastern coastline. On March 21st, a powerful magnitude 8.1 earthquake struck near the Raoul Islands, the largest in the Kermadec group. This earthquake was widely felt in New Zealand, particularly in the northern island area, which is this here. And it prompted a tsunami warning along the eastern coast of New Zealand, with coastal evacuation orders issued for some areas. About 6 hours before the main quake, at 2:27 New Zealand time, on March 4th, 2021, a magnitude 7.3 East Cape, New Zealand earthquake occurred at the southern end of the Kermadec Trench. This earthquake was felt largely across the country and woke many people up. No damage was caused, though. Isn't that surprising? USGS later concluded that the earthquake lasted about 50 seconds and that it was a reverse strike-slip earthquake, which was not expected in this region. They don't happen like that there. The tsunami that did come was relatively small, and there was no damage reported. New Zealand does place a strong emphasis on earthquake and tsunami preparedness, with regular public awareness campaigns and education about safety measures. Communities in coastal areas, particularly on the North Island, have evacuation plans in place. The only tsunami I could find about that ever occurred there in New Zealand was in 1855, which was the Wairarapa earthquake. That occurred on January 23rd, about 9:17 p.m. Much like the other earthquake, the shaking lasted about 50 seconds. That earthquake occurred along the Wairarapa fault zone inland, not far from the ocean though. I'll show you it right there. Wikipedia has images of landslides. Wellington also felt the shaking. Look how far down that is. But there wasn't much damage to Wellington because most of the buildings that had been rebuilt from a previous earthquake were made of wood. Wood structures really hold up well during an earthquake. Here we have the Wellington Fault. Yeah, that's another major fault zone that runs through the North Island of New Zealand. This fault is estimated to be about 140 kilometers or 87 miles long. The Wellington Fault is a source of significant earthquakes in the past, with the most recent major events occurring centuries ago. Again, that would be the earthquake probably in 1855. So that was about 160 years ago. Scientists do estimate that large major ruptures of the Wellington Fault occur about every 300 to 500 years. There in New Zealand, they are a day ahead of us. They've had 2 earthquakes so far today, a magnitude 3.2 and a 3.0, both of them by the Wellington area. And then there was a 2.4 in Oxford and several others. But yeah, for some reason I've been really interested in covering these earthquakes. I spent the morning today drawing out the volcanic areas. Surprisingly, there is one location that the last time it erupted was in 2012. Yeah. Another thing which was quite astounding, Auckland. I guess that's how you want it pronounced. Let me see. Bring it up over here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right there. The city was built on top of a volcanic field. There's over 53 volcanic cones in Auckland. It's like, oh my goodness. It was founded in 1840. A long time before they realized probably what they were building on. They have gas plumes and things like that, and it's constantly being watched. So many wealthy people are moving to New Zealand. I hope it's not near the area of Auckland. They moved there, I believe, because of the threat of war. So I hope you are moving there, if you got the money to move there, you're moving down here in the northern area. There's no volcanoes in this area, but there is always the threat. There's always earthquakes, things like that. China evidently is New Zealand's major trading partner. A recent article that came out yesterday says New Zealand raises South China Sea, Taiwan tensions with China during foreign minister's visit. I just started watching a Netflix series about relationships in the Cold War between the United States and Russia, and they briefly touched on different battles. They did not mention in there how Taiwan actually is kind of like a breakaway country from China. During one of their failed revolutions to overtake China, many of the people then moved to Taiwan. Anyways, I get sidetracked here. So what are your thoughts about these earthquakes and the threat of earthquakes and the volcanoes? Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, be prepared. I'm sure you prepared there. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.